All right, I think we're live. Hi, friends. This is Lindsay Dollinger with the Social Selling Sisterhood podcast, and I'm super excited to share with you the story of our guest today, Miss Rachel Kerr. And she is the owner and do you call yourself owner and CEO? I feel like that's the appropriate
I
title.
always say founder. I never say
Okay.
CEO.
Okay, founder of the Beauty Boost, which she's going to explain all about what that is in a second. And I think you guys are going to absolutely love Rachel's story. I've heard it a few times at some of her different events and have found it really inspiring. And I love watching her journey. And I know it's a journey that so many of you are either currently on or are wanting a little bit of inspiration to do the same sort of thing. So, Rachel, welcome to the podcast. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah.
And tell us all the things, girl. Who are you? What got you started? And where are you now?
Yeah, you can cut me off if I go too long here. It's a loaded question. So I am currently sitting here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm 35, and I started a company called the Beauty Boost roughly 6 years ago. Our mission is to help women feel empowered, feel healthy, feel beautiful, and we execute that mission through these different events and experiences. So those events and experiences fall under the categories of weekend retreat getaways, fitness events, empowerment workshops, and socials. And really, anybody can grab a ticket to anything, but we also offer membership just because so many women come back to so many things and make it kind of more of like a lifestyle. So, membership just offers more bang for your buck with more perks. Currently, we are fully launched in 15 cities with 2 more on the way. And that all happened very fast, but I will backtrack. So, like I said, I started about 6 years ago. And so I was like, what, in my mid to late 20s then, I guess. And I had a bunch of jobs leading up to that. I worked for like L Brands, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, a marketing firm. I think I never had a job longer than 2 years. And none of them were bad. I honestly had pretty decent salaries, like average salaries, like my coworkers, didn't hate the work I was doing, but never loved my days. I just felt very unfulfilled and I felt very guilty for feeling that way. This was way before the word freelancer or remote working really was a thing. So I just personally despised having to sit at my desk from like 8 to 5, 9 to 5 when I would get my work done or I wanted to leave for a workout or go home to Wheeling, West Virginia and visit my grandma and work remote, but I couldn't just based on these rules. So all that to say, I was feeling very dissettled in my life. And my good friend, Kim White, put out a post on Facebook because Instagram wasn't even invented yet, and said she had just gone through this life coaching program and she was looking for like a pro bono student. I didn't know what life coaching was really, but I loved free things. So I was like, I'll be your guinea pig. And that was one of the best things I ever did. She basically really helped me stop and ask myself a lot of questions that now I'm like, of course I would ask myself those questions. It's second nature. But I had never stopped to think about what kind of days I want to have, yada, yada. And so basically, I worked with her through a couple months. And then I simultaneously, I don't know if you guys follow Marie Forleo. She's like a Oprah, Tony Robbins business coach woman, but she's very tactical. Not so much woo woo, I would say. And I went through her B school. It was a 6-week course. And I also got my yoga certification at the time. So I was doing the things. I wasn't necessarily sure, like, of course, the Beauty Boost is exactly what it is today, but I was taking small steps along the way. And slowly, as I grew the Beauty Boost over 2 years, organically dwindled down my corporate job. I wasn't like a person that just up and quit my job and went for it. I always had to pay for everything myself and very strategic with my money and all that. So I didn't really feel like I could just do that, where I have some friends that do, and it's great. I'm just not that kind of person. And so I took very small baby steps along the way.
Oh my gosh, I love so much of what you just said because like that's totally me too. I want to be very like almost like safe where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like slowly, naturally, organically build my business and not make anything drastic just in case. And I remember watching it because I didn't know for a long time. So how long was the Beauty Boost just in Columbus?
Yeah, so I actually never imagined it would be anywhere else even. It was around, I think, so I was doing it on the side for the first 2 years. And then by year 3, I left my corporate job and was just dabbling in teaching yoga for some side money and some basic freelance work remote, but fully doing the Beauty Boost. So it was around like year 3.5 where it seemed like out of nowhere, all within the same month, women were either emailing or then Instagram messaging like, hey, I heard about the Beauty Boost somehow, or I attended an event, but I don't live there. Can you recommend something in my city, or is it here? And that's what got the wheels churning. And myself and a gal named Lindsay helped launch it in Cincinnati and Cleveland. And then a friend from home launched it in Pittsburgh. And so those were the main cities we were in up until this past December. And then from December to March, so we went from 5 cities to fully launch in 15. I never tried, didn't reach out to anybody. It was just women sharing it and reaching out to me. And it's a franchise model on the back end, which is different than what we used to have, but it is by far much, much better for the women running it in their cities. So they fully own the Beauty Boost in whatever city they're in.
Oh, very cool. Okay, yeah, I wasn't
Mhm.
aware of that. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you very first got started, like how you were
Mhm.
doing it while you were also working your full-time job, how did you go about, even promoting or
About
finding new
everything.
people? Yeah, everything, honestly, yeah, everything, because there's
That's
some
something.
people.
Yeah, I do a lot of free calls with people, like an initial call, because I love helping
Mhm.
women with that kind of stuff. Just I find it fascinating if they have an idea, but they're just not sure how to get it going. So Marie Forleo's B School, I would highly recommend. It was life changing for me. I mean, I went to Otterbein. I had a double major, double minor in PR, business, communications. Didn't teach me diddly squat compared to Marie Forleo's 6 weeks. So she just helps you figure out your tone of voice, your customer avatar, how to navigate your website, what are your pillars for income, like all the basic ground foundation, your branding, which is missing from a lot of small businesses because we're only one person. We can't do everything. We don't have the money to hire employees, yada, yada. But it's so much easier now than it used to be for resources and help and things like that. So that was drastically helpful. The way I started was I had a friend from home, from Wheeling, create a website for me. I was very clear on what I wanted it to look like visually and everything from Marie Forleo's training. And then I put out a Facebook page because that was like the only social media really that I knew of to do. I reached out to like 12 girls to do a photo shoot in the park for free. I just made them a little fun swag bag. They loved it. And that was the photography we used for everything. And then I partnered with a gal on a retreat in Hocking Hills. And that was like it. I didn't know our mission statement to the way it is now, the line of offerings we have. It continued to grow. But that first retreat, I think she and I each profited $200, and we were like thrilled that we didn't lose money and that people actually wanted to come. And we just saw the change and impact it made. The weekend retreats are still where women make the most change because you're immersed for a full weekend versus like a 2-hour event. Um, and so, started small. Those, what I do is like experiential. So women come have a great time. They're going to share it, tell their friends naturally. It's not like a hard push for me to have to do that. And that's exactly what was happening. And then that first year, I really hustled. I did a lot for free. Not that anybody should or needs to do free things, but for me, I had like a clear objective. So I was partnering with a local athletic place called Bend Active, and we were putting on a bunch of events with drinks and food. I'm all about, my passion is putting on the experiential. I was like the kid hosting the slumber parties back in the day. And I was getting women's emails that wanted to be on our email list and just connecting with them and then growing it, the foundation, the base that way.
I love it. I really feel like your base, that what I think of is the retreats or your
Mhm.
fitness sampler,
Mhm.
which you do what, twice a year? Or is it once a year?
At least twice a year, yeah.
Okay, talk to us about putting on a big event, because I feel like that would either be the most stressful thing or most fun thing, or like both
Yeah,
together.
I'm probably the worst person for this podcast to ask this. So I am not like a perfectionist type A. I had a friend come help me year 2, I think it was, and up to that date never had a single spreadsheet. She was like, "Rachel, I do not know how you're successful." It's like, me neither. So this year's been all about, especially with the growth, streamlining, putting processes into place. But really, I think planning any event, think about what you want the takeaway to be for people and then work backwards. So secure a venue, get the date. It depends on what event. We'll just talk about my fitness sampler as an example. For that one, we have a separate room with back-to-back workouts. So reaching out to the studios, creating a relationship with them. Then we have a market party area. So reaching out to local businesses that are a good brand match, which means knowing your customer avatar and what you want them to provide at your event. That's like there's like event planning is always pre-event, during event, and post-event. So it's 3 elements. And so this is all pre-event, all those little details. And then of course the marketing, that's always my headache part, just getting the people to come, getting the word out there, which that's a whole nother talk in itself. But currently I use, Instagram, email platform. We have a local brand ambassador team, relying on our partners that are part of that event to help cross promote, all those kind of things. I am somebody that asks for help a lot. I don't try to do everything myself, which I would highly stress for everybody to do, is lean on other people. And then obviously execute the event and do what you say you'll do, give people a great experience. And then post event, is just sending all your follow-ups, your thank yous, whatever pieces you want to send out to the attendees, all that kind of thing.
I've noticed you use Eventbrite for a lot of your events. Would you recommend that platform?
Yeah, I mean, any traditional marketer would say you always want to drive traffic to your website, which we have all of our Eventbrites on the website, but I always typically just share the Eventbrite link out directly, which means people are just going to the Eventbrite link, not to my website.
Right.
It depends on what you want to do, but I do love using Eventbrite. I think it's a really great platform. It's so easy. I have zero technology skills, so it's great for me.
Yeah. Well, and people can find it too, even if they
Yes.
weren't on your list, which I do.
Yeah, it'll market out your events. Like the more you have and the more niche, like health and wellness, for example, it'll start to send that out to other people in your area that are going to those kind of events.
Love that. And then you also mentioned brand ambassadors. I think that is absolutely genius because I think that is a very underutilized thing that women could be doing more with their business. So share kind of what your brand ambassadors do.
Yeah, it's a fun story. So Nicole on my team, it was year 3, and she was like, I think you need to have a team of brand ambassadors. And I was like, hard no. I do not want to find that, manage it, or do it. If you want to do it, go for it. So she was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I had to maintain it. But it is by far one of the best things we've done. So again, like everything I feel like I just learned as I went, happened organically. It was like roughly the same 20 women were always coming to my events, always sharing, always inviting their friends. So Nicole basically just helped create structure around it. So you can go a number of ways. There's paid brand ambassadorships, there's affiliate codes. Ours is like a total trade almost, where they get a hefty discounted membership for the year. We do ambassador outings, like I pay for spa days for them or brunches or whatever it might be. And in turn, they help cross promote the events, volunteer at them, invite friends, come up with ideas, connect me with people, all of that. We hop on like an easy call about once a month. And it's great because there's so many women that are aligned with our mission anyhow, and they want to help more, but they have like full-time jobs. Maybe they can't totally, come on as like a freelancer, but they just want to dive in a little bit more. And we're actually gearing up right now for 2022 brand ambassadors.
So if someone listening to this would be interested in doing that, what would they need to do?
Yeah, I would say like for someone listening that wants to get involved in any capacity, number 1 would be like go to the website, enter your email, because you're going to get once a week, don't spam you, events and happenings email in any of the existing cities we're in when you listen to this. And we do have some virtual events. And then 2, if you find a city we're in and you're like, oh, I want to get more involved, there should be a link on the Instagram for a brand ambassador application. We have a different Instagram for every city we're in. So it kind of showcases that city. And then 3, if you are listening and you're in a city we're not in and you're interested in starting it or owning it there, you would just email me. And my email and phone number is on the website, thebeautyboost.net.
And I'll be sure to link that, guys, in the show notes as well. So you can just quickly click on it and go right there.
Yeah, or text. I'm like an open book on there. It's
Yes,
all
I can attest to that, guys. Rachel will always respond to you. And that's one of the things that I love. Well, and that, and I feel like your events are so affordable for women because there are so many coaches and programs out there that I'm like, they're not accessible to everyone. And I love that about the Beauty Boost.
Yeah, thanks. When I was going through Marie Forleo's program, asking myself, what do we want? And so, I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that have like a higher end ticket sale with less people, and that's great. For me, I wanted to be able to offer it like a lifestyle, like I was saying. So our ticket prices are anywhere, honestly, from like $10 to $30, and I wanted to be able to have more energy, more women coming together at a cheaper price point versus the opposite.
Yeah, I love that. And I have met new women at any event of yours that I've gone to. Over the years and stayed in touch with them. And I love how that you have done a really great job of building community, whether it is local community, online, just kind of all over the world. And it's spreading. And that's what
Mhm.
happens when you put good vibes out there, right?
Yeah, thanks.
So before we wrap up, Rachel, what would be one piece of advice or one tip you would have for the woman listening to this and is like, okay, I have this like either this passion on my heart that I really want to get started with, or I'm not necessarily happy with my job and I would love to do something like Rachel. What would you tell her to do? What should she?
Yeah, I would say it's like a combo. If you think of like a pie chart, slices of the pie. One would be to surround yourself with other people that are doing things you want to be doing. It doesn't have to be in the same genre. So, like when I was starting, there wasn't that many people that I knew of in Columbus that were owning their own businesses or doing their own thing. It was like very corporate. This is your path for life. And that's fine if that's what people want. It just wasn't what I wanted at the time. And I felt like crazy because I didn't want that. So I went to events. We have a local company called the Wonder Jam. They were putting on events. It wasn't even necessarily for the content of the events. It was just like who I would meet at the events, or being part of a group like the Beauty Boost or things like that. And then two would be to get a coach. Like you said, there's all types of coaches, all different price points, but I always share out resources for coaches if anyone is looking and listening. And that's the great part about being remote. You can do it through Zoom or whatever. But working with a coach, whether it's a life coach, which usually helps you kind of figure out more of like, what do I want to do with my life or a certain area, or a business coach. If you're like, here's what I have, I know this is what I want to put out in the world. I just need help with my revenue line items or something like that. It would be a business coach. And I work with both. So those things. And then I kind of told myself I was doing like a mental cleanse the first year before I even launched. So all I was doing was like reprogramming my thoughts to myself, which sounds crazy. But I was like getting ready in the morning for my corporate job and listening to a snippet of Marie Forleo's free content, which she has a ton. Or I would listen to like a podcast on my walk with my dog or whatever it might be. I just tried to like really feed my mind, read a book, feed my mind with like this kind of content.
I love that. That's great. Literally all of that. I 100% can vouch for the coach.
Yeah.
The coaches, like I'm actually my call right after I get off here with you, Rachel, is with my coach. That's what I'm like, yes, doing back to back. And I love how you said reprogramming your mind because
Mhm.
it's really kind of what we get to do. We are so used to being in a society where things have to be a certain way. And I love that you recognize that. And we're like, no, I've got to get out of this, this box that
Yeah.
I've been put into.
It gets easier as you keep doing it, and it gets
Mhm.
easier as you surround yourself with the right people, I think.
Yeah,
For doing it.
100% agree.
Mhm.
So again, everyone, you guys need to check out Rachel. Thank you so much for chatting with us and sharing
Yeah.
all that. I love your story. Guys, you have to check out one of Rachel's events. Do you guys still do a vision board event?
Yeah, we're doing a big one for January called the Year Project. So it's going to incorporate the vision boarding, but it's so much more. So super excited. So we're
Ooh.
launching all of our 2022 events here shortly before the end of the year. Some will be like a repeat and some will be fresh.
Awesome. And if people want to join the Beauty Boost, is it
Mhm.
open all the time or is there a certain amount of time it's open?
Yeah, there's certain launches for the membership specifically for the year membership. Here towards the end of the year will be the best time to do it. And if not that, then just grabbing tickets to the events. But usually
Awesome.
I always just say, if you're like, there's so many ways to get involved, I don't even know where to start. Just put your email at thebeautyboost.net and you're at the very least going to get the Monday events and happenings email.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for your time. I appreciate this so much. And everyone go connect with Rachel.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.